Business Insights on Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson.
This episode of Talking with the Experts is brought to you by our future partners. Maybe that's you. If your brand aligns with authenticity, strategy, and transformation, let's collaborate. Visit talkingwiththeexperts.com/sponsor Talking with the Experts to learn more. Now, let's dive into today's conversation.
Why write a book and why not write a book? My next guest, Doug Crowe, is going to share with us why a book can be the most powerful tool for building your personal brand and why in some cases you shouldn't write one at all. Now, Doug wasn't raised by wolves, nor was he rescued from rags to riches. He simply built his story the long way through decades of business, travel, and storytelling. He's a Dale Carnegie Highest Achievement Award winner and has travelled to 43 countries across all 7 continents, even to Antarctica. He's a licensed pilot, scuba diver, and is the proud father of 3. He's also a best-selling author, an investor, a brand strategist, and a media contributor featured in Entrepreneur, Thrive Global, Bloomberg, Chicago Tribune, Yahoo Finance, and more. My goodness me. His insights have landed him on TEDx stages, CBS News, and dozens of radio shows nationwide, including his own on Wind AM 560 and later on WLS AM 890 in Chicago. Doug, that is a mouthful and such a wide-ranging scope of achievements. Welcome to Talking with the Experts.
Thank you. A pleasure being here.
So, Doug, tell me what got you into all of the things that you're doing?
Well, that's a pretty broad question, but I got a lot of answers. But in terms of what I'm currently doing, is helping founders and CEOs share a better story to get whatever they want, whether it's brand authority, lead gen, equity, channel partnerships. There's a lot of things a book can do for a founder and a CEO. So I got into that by accident, and it was kind of a happenstance thing when I was used to be a real estate developer. But I got into publishing, and it's been so much fun because I get to hear the greatest stories from the most fascinating people.
Wonderful. So how do we know when or if a book will actually grow our brand and some of the key signs that publishing will amplify our credibility and influence?
Yeah, great questions. Well, a book all by itself will do nothing. So just the fact that you've written and published one doesn't mean diddly squat. You're not going to all of a sudden be discovered and on television in 30 days. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, but there are approximately 2 million new books every single year. And everybody is vying for the same, set of eyeballs and attention from similar audiences. So to make the book work, it's a complete, I have a very unique way to do that. But the fact of creating or writing one is, a lot of people put a lot of focus and attention on the creative act, which is important for sure. But without a marketing and a strategic distribution to go with it, your odds are better to win the lottery than to sell 1 million copies of your book, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a couple of books in mind that I want to do. One of them is gathering all my podcast guests together and getting and writing a book about their interviews. And the other one is writing a book of my personal journey from childhood up till now. But, sometimes you think, I really want to do this thing, but I think fear holds a lot of us back in, getting we have these ideas, but getting the book out there can be really challenging.
It is. It's funny. There's so much automation now that wasn't available a few years ago to help us with that journey. And, before Amazon got very popular, you had no choice. You had to go to a regular publisher and beg for permission to get attention. And nowadays, it's impossible not to publish your own book. You can actually, with a couple of clicks, type up a manuscript, and you can be a published author in a matter of minutes. And that's a good thing, and it's also a bad thing because anybody can publish, which is good and bad depending on what you're reading. So that's why it goes back to the marketing positioning that you need to establish even before the first word is written. A lot of people focus on social and podcasts and things like that to get attention to their book. And we have a very unique position at our company. We actually do all of that work before the book is written.
Okay, explain why.
Well, think about it. If you spend all this time and energy and resources and thought and writing and editing and writing and editing, proofing and layout and production, and you go, okay, world, here I am. And the world's like, who are you? Why should I care? So if we backtrack 9 months at the beginning of your process, okay, well, who are you and why should we care? Let's address those questions first before you write, because if you don't write with some intention to solve a problem for somebody, to entertain them, to become useful, interesting, or some combination of those things, your book is going to go nowhere. You got to really understand your reader and what they want and need and what they've tried before and failed with. One of our key functions we do is we developed some software that is called Page Pulse. What it does, it goes into Amazon and it goes to your book category. Say your category is in business development, advertising, whatever it is. Our software goes in there and analyzes all the best sellers under their 3-star reviews. We ignore 1-star reviews. People are just angry. And we ignore 5-star reviews. It's usually somebody's mother, right? But a 3-star review gives great intel. Number one, it's not completely negative or positive. It's in the middle. So it's like, you know what? I like your book, but I enjoyed reading this, and I wish you would have said this. I didn't like this. And we collate over 100 reviews like that. We get data gold. We get such value from those 3-star reviews. We can use that information to draft a better manuscript. So stage one, we know what the audience is yearning for, what they don't want and what they do want. The second thing we do in terms of pre-marketing is if your book is about, for example, your podcast guests, or they all have some thin thread that connects them together, business insights. Well, what I would do is I would say, okay, that's fine. We could take 10, 20 podcast guests, but let's go ahead and be intentional about maybe half a dozen of them. Find out who has the biggest company, who has their own PR department, who has a big list of 50, 100,000 people in a distribution list. Let's make sure they are in that book. So when your book comes out, hey, Bob, you're in chapter 3 and 7. You want me to send you a copy? Oh, yeah. Oh, this is great. What's he going to do when he sees your book, right? Rose, he's going to go to his chapter first. Well, there I am, right? Geez, how can I get this to my company? How can I get this to my community? How can I get this? I'm so glad you asked. See, when you treat your future readers as collaboration partners as opposed to a customer, you get a lot of things solved. It's easier to create your content. Your book sounds better. It's not just me. It's you and your community. And you got a pre-built launch team to get it out there. Most authors, when they promote their book, they've got about 2 or 3 days. We've seen this, right? We go to our friends' feed. Hey, I got a book coming out. Okay, great. Thank you. Maybe I'll get it. Maybe I won't. Yeah. Next day. Yeah, I know you got a book out. Third day. I heard. Within a week, it's like, I'm sick of your, okay, I got other things to do in my life. You can only promote your book for a few days. If you don't have advocates, dozens and dozens of other people helping you promote your book, you are running up a very steep hill.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had a podcast guest who recently released a book and asked me to write a review for it, and my name's included in the book because I'd made some comment, which is really nice. But then when it came time to promoting, it was like email after email after email. And I'd already promoted it, a couple of times for him anyway, but it just got a bit tiresome.
It's very true. So if you have in mind, like, I'll give you another example. One of our clients mentioned Vistage, CEO Peer Group, and the American Cancer Society in his book. We didn't edit out. We left those names in there. Where are his first 2 keynote addresses? Vistage National, American Cancer Society, because we intentionally left their names in the book. That's just a small thing. If you really lean into that and really make it a big deal, you don't have to write your book for a company, but if you're aligned with their values or part of their USP or something like that, and you are aligned with it, man, bring them in. Treat them as collaboration partners. Yeah.
Yeah, no, great idea. They actually top-notch ideas. Thank you for sharing all those.
I've got a lot more. That's just the first two.
Also, share more, please.
Well, you know, you only have a few minutes here.
So when is writing a book a bad idea? You know, what are some of the warning signs and common mistakes that we make?
Great question. So I'll use the word writing and I use the word producing separately. It's usually always a bad idea to write a book because unless you are a professional storyteller, and I mean professional, like, you know, character development, hooks, rising action, tension, alliteration. If you understand the writing process and how, I'll use this example. Hollywood spends $100 million and famous actors to hold our attention for 2 hours. As an author, you're asking the reader for 4 to 6 hours of their attention with no visuals, just your words. Hollywood spends $100 million to hold your attention. Not all the movies are that good. You expect your words, your ink on paper, to hold my attention for 4 to 6 hours? Who are you? Are you Hemingway? So most people shouldn't write. Most everybody should publish. And there's the key differentiator is the task of writing well, like I said, because you can have AI write a lot of stuff nowadays. But to write well and to embed your emotions and your soul and your story in there, most people can do a good amount of that. But to make it story arcs and make it interesting for the reader, boy, that takes either a really good developmental editor or a professional writer. So most everybody should publish a book. Hardly anybody should actually write it themselves.
All right. So who should we get to write it?
Well, it depends on what your book is about, right? If it's our company, I'll just talk about myself for a moment. We've been ghostwriting and publishing for founders and CEOs for 15 years. And I've gone through well over 100 ghostwriters. And I've seen a trend where a writer tries to infuse their own personality or politics into a manuscript. And like, don't do that. You got to mirror the author. And I call my clients authors, even though they're not doing all the writing. So a person who understands personality, psychology, a person's voice, cadence, style, if they can capture that, they can, and mirror it, they're in great shape. We use a separate function for journalism, writing, editing, and proofing and layout. There's at least 5 different skill sets from 5 different people to pull that off. A good journalist asks the questions that the reader wants to know. You mentioned maybe writing your life story, nothing wrong with that. But I encourage you to have someone to interview you who's a professional interviewer who can go down those rabbit holes and spot, now, why did you say that? Where were you when that happened? Oh my gosh, why did he do that, you think? You know, now that you've mentioned it, you know, because a good journalist is painting the whole picture, whereas most people who write their own books are telling their story from their perspective, which is fine until it isn't. Until it all of a sudden goes off the rail or it sounds like a diary or there's no meaningful reason I should read this. One thing I don't need to be mean to anybody, but when I see people put their picture on the cover of a book, I generally laugh. From a sales psychology standpoint, why would you do that? Does anybody know your face besides your family and maybe 100 friends? No. So putting your face on a cover of a book is vanity. It's not marketing. The cover is designed for one purpose, to make somebody look at the back cover. Yeah. And there's your sales page. Okay, now I'm gonna get the book. Yeah. So if your cover, I mean, if you're a supermodel, maybe it'll help, right? Most of us aren't. If you're famous, it totally works. But if you're an ordinary person, don't put your picture on the cover. That's just lazy and it's egocentric. It doesn't work.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I wouldn't buy a book with someone's unless I knew the person. I mean, what's the point? I'd rather a nice cover with, you know, sunshine and roses and flowers and all sorts of other things, you know, rather than looking at someone.
You know, the cover and title is supposed to do a couple of things. It should either answer a question that's already in the reader's mind, like, hey, I'm new in town. How do I make friends here? Oh, look, there's a book. How to win friends and influence people. That answers my question. Or it should create a question like, what's this book about? Blink. What's up with that? I'm curious, right? So that's pretty much it. Either answer a question or ask one. And the third one I love the most is harder to do, but it's to create a puzzle. One of my friends wrote a book, forgive me, but it won the worst book title of the year award about 10 years ago. It's called Cooking with Pooh. It's a Thai cookbook. That's her last name is Pooh. It's her name.
Oh
The double
no.
entendre with the brown cover makes people go, what? Oh, it gets attention, right? And it works for her. I saw it at the airport just not just a couple of years ago. So anytime you do a double entendre, which it does, a pattern interrupt, a person's like, huh, what? It makes them spend an extra second on the title to figure it out. So puzzle, curiosity, or answer a question. Those are the three things a cover should do. It should not reveal the whole book
Mm.
because then why bother reading it? If you can answer all the questions. So
Absolutely. No, I mean, when you said the title, I thought, oh, gross. Anyway, Doug, what are some smart alternatives to a book for building authority? I mean, there must be some proven ways to strengthen our personal brand and attract those opportunities that we're all looking for.
Right. I was reading an article this morning by Mark Schaefer about personal branding, how it's more important now than any time in history. And the big picture is, as we have seen in the rise of the internet and social media, and everyone's got a TV studio. We're doing a podcast now, unheard of a few years ago, to be on TV with you, right? This is brand new, but the numbers don't lie. I think it was it, forgive me if I mess these up, maybe 10 years ago, there was like a couple 100,000 podcasts. Now there's like 30 million. It's just, it's amazing. Everyone can do it. So it makes it social media and video and podcasts and writing. Blogs were like a big deal when they were rare. Now anybody could blog. What makes a book unique and still special, even in all the tools we can use nowadays, a book is still special for one reason. I don't know what I clicked on an hour ago. I don't know what I commented on 2 hours ago. I don't remember a speaker I heard a week ago, but I've never, ever, ever thrown a book in the garbage can. A book is permanent. We have this visceral reaction. It's like, oh my God, I can't throw a book away. That's like burning a book. We never do that. So a book is a permanent foundational element to your brand. It's working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's going to be around when you're dead. I mean, it's permanent. Everything else is temporary, no matter what it is. So a book is an essential element of a personal brand, provided you tell a story well, you make a point, and you give some value to the reader that they can take some action on, not just feel good, but hey, I'm going to do this thing today. So it's important for personal brand.
Yeah, my friend recently published a book. It's called it's called Own Your Media, or Own Your Own Media, because he was kicked off Facebook for no reason and lost nearly $250,000 through clients and everything, and he was just like devastated. So he published a book, self-published, I might add, but it's done quite well. It got to 14th on Amazon or something, so that's not a bad start. And I mean, just because he was frustrated with the whole social media debacle. I mean, I've been locked out of Facebook for a month now because I posted a link, and I'm a threat to cybersecurity, apparently.
Gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got
if you don't own your space, you're in trouble. It's weird.
Yeah, I've got a few thousand followers, and I can't use I can use WhatsApp, and I can look at Instagram, but I can't interact. I can't post anything or see comments or anything. So
I'm sure you're encouraging your clients to market on social, but own your own platform.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what he's done.
I've never built a community on any social platform. For that very reason, you're not the only person that's gotten ripped off. I had one political group that I set up. It was it's called Tail Wags Dog. Why the extreme left and extreme right are working together to keep us apart. It was kind of clever, even though it was middle of the road stuff. But they closed it down. Like, all right, fine. I'm not going to talk. Censor me.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's a bot has decided that I'm that we're a threat in some way, and there's no real person behind the fact checking at all. So I think it's just absolutely ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So it's important to own your community, and you use social for marketing as well, but don't live there. It's dangerous.
No, absolutely no. I certainly won't be doing that in future. I'll
Yeah.
be moving them over to something else. But yeah, getting back to the book thing, I mean, and you're right, because having a book is a legacy and something that will be there for absolutely forever. And, you know, if you've written your book well enough and it keeps selling, I mean, look at the royalties that, you know, even your family can enjoy. So, you know, you need to look at those sorts of things as well.
Yeah. Most business authors understand that the revenue from a book is usually pretty small. Even if you sell 1,000 copies, you're getting, you know, maybe, you know, $8 or $9 US on that. It's not huge money. The big money for most business authors, I always say that you can make big money from your book, but not. I'm sorry, I get this wrong all the time. You make money because of your book, not from your book. I had one client who we did a book for him. He built software. I don't know why he wanted to do a book, but he had great stories. And I called him up after we were done, you know, ghostwriting and publishing his book for him. I said, "Hey, you want to be in some podcasts, get some media attention, and get your book out there?" He said, "I have no time." What do you mean no time? You just spent like 50 grand to get your book done. Let's promote it. He goes, "I don't have time for that." Can you tell me more? He goes, "Oh, he had like only 250 customers at a software company. That was enterprise software." And he said, "I mailed it to all my clients. They gave me so many referrals. I don't have time for anything right now."
Wow.
So his marketing was already built in because he wrote his book for his customers. And 1 year later, he sold the business.
Wow. Exceptional. Exceptional.
Yep.
Now, if you want to find out more about Doug, you can find him on LinkedIn and on his website, theauthorityfusion.com. And he has something.
Actually, the website would be authoryourbrand.com is the main site.
All right. Authoryourbrand.com. All right. I'll get that link from you.
Yeah, it's okay. Authority Fusion, we have a community there. They can join that as well. It's fine. It's just in terms of getting some free goodies, you'll get more over at Author Your Brand. But either one actually. There's plenty of stuff there for everybody. I didn't say that. Authority Fusion or Author Your Brand are both good.
I'd love you to share more words of wisdom, Doug, before we close today.
Sure. Ask me a specific question. I'll give you something.
I guess pros and cons of writing a book.
Yeah. The pros are once you're done with it, and it's a laborious, tedious process, you're done, and you can just get it out there and focus on marketing. So it is an asset. Most marketing, matter of fact, all the marketing is an expense. That's why your friend Own the Media he's onto something. It's pro to producing a book is you've got permanent digital asset or printable asset that you can use over and over again. The cons are to do it well, a well-positioned, a well-articulated story takes resources, time, patience, and a team to do it. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Doug, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. And I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Thank
you, Rose. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts with Rose Davidson, the podcast that brings you real stories, bold insights, and strategies that work. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast channel so you never miss an episode, and dive into our full library anytime at talkingwiththeexperts.com. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep talking with the experts.